Hi, I'm going to talk about my informative speech is going to be over malignant melanoma, which consists of accounts for 5% of skin cancer, but it has a 50% survival rate. I'd like to promote awareness by describing the differences of moles and cancers, moles to detect and onset of early cancer signs, and if anything, get treatment right away. I believe that if individuals were a little bit more knowledgeable of how to detect malignant melanoma through our moles, then we can do the initial checkup with our doctors and prevent later stages of cancer, and therefore preventing more deaths and the survival rate. And preventative measures could be taken in the future to help further individuals' knowledge of this disease and, again, how to detect the disease in the first place. So malignant melanoma, like I said, is a type of skin cancer. It accounts for about 5% of skin cancers, but has a survival rate of 50%. Cancer is at an all-time high right now. I think that we've become more aware of it as a population. It occurs when least expect it, but most cancers can occur undetected and spontaneous. But some can be easily detected through the moles and their changes over time, which is malignant melanoma is one of those skin cancers that you can easily kind of detect or check up on through your everyday activities. So melanoma can begin wherever there's pigment, which is what a mole is. It's a different pigmentation of skin, and so on. It is the changes in the moles and skin pigmentation that demonstrates this cancer. When looking for changes, it's best to keep in mind the initial size, the diameter of the mole, while estimating the new size in the current mole. So moles can, if your mole is changing over time, the size and the mole is changing over time, then, and this is one of my little diagrams, if the size of your mole is changing over time, then that's something to be aware of. That can demonstrate an early sign of malignant melanoma that you should probably go get a checkup and take further action from there. Other signs of changes in a mole may be its color, which could be multiple colors within one mole and a solid change in color of the same mole. So that could be multiple colors, could be a possibility of a little bit of brown, a little bit of red, a little bit of black. And if you see more than that black or more than that brown and within the same mold, then that's another sign that you should probably further with a checkup. If you have a black mole and later it becomes brown or later it becomes red, that's another thing that you can schedule a visit for and do a checkup there. Some moles occur within spotty patches or irregular shape symmetry, which is termed asymmetrical. Now this same diagram that I just used, that's another sign of the asymmetrical shape that this mole has. On one side it's a little bit extended, the other side it's a little elevated. It's a bit different. So that's a great sign to go ahead and recognize that there may be something going on. This is another diagram that I was able to print out, and this shows a line of normal moles that we may encounter on our skins. This shows a line of abnormal moles that we may detect as early melanoma, and that's just some changes that you may want to keep in mind. And then if the mole does not hold consistency in size, shape, or coloration, this can be an easy sign of melanoma's presence. So like I said, this is an everyday thing that you can do. If you notice difference or change, then that would be an early sign to just go ahead and schedule a visit and further inquire on that. Daily habits can highly influence the impact of skin cancer. Recommendations of those who sunbathe, tan, or who modify skin regimens are given to limit the impact or potential onset of skin cancer. So some of the activities that we do every day could be tanning, or not every day, but some of the things that we can do in a typical day would be tanning or sunbathing, which could easily be going swimming and not wearing sunblock, or not wearing the suntan lotion, anything that could protect our skin. If we're not putting that protection on, then we definitely give exposure to our skin, which could lead to further development of melanoma. So that would be a great way to prevent that, and that's something that we as individuals could do. Direct influence of the skin is a start to the onset of potential malignant cancer. How we treat our bodies is a major influence into how our bodies will react and direct the effort of repair to the needed areas. Consistent exposure to unsafe or unwise skin routines will bring the possibility of elevated risk cancer. I thought that was also important to put in unwise skin regimens, because it's not just sunbathing and tanning, but there could be possibilities of new uses of skin products that are not tested, or that we don't normally use in ourselves, and that's another way to easily produce a further growth of melanoma that we're unaware that that's happening, or that's just exposure to something that could change our bodies or our skins. So there's multiple types of skin cancer, as malignant melanoma only accounts for the 5% of skin cancer, but the best way to determine any onset of cancer should be through a doctor's visit. I put that as the last point just because it's the most important. As I said from the beginning of the speech, if you do detect any signs or differences in your moles, and again, melanoma is just one type of skin cancer, but if you do detect any signs or differences, then a doctor's visit is always the best way to go. Because at the end of the day, they're equipped to determine that, and they can produce all of the tests, if not many of the tests that are needed to determine cancer, whether or not it's benign or actually present. So that's the most important step and the final step that I put in there. It seems simple enough, but often we miss a checkup as a preventative measure in detecting an early onset of cancer. If you are unsure of any signs of cancer or the differences in moles, you should always schedule and complete a visit to the doctors. So I think even a yearly, annually checkup would be also great. The smallest signs or the smallest measures is the biggest route to go long term. So that's an easy way to prevent or detect any skin cancer or possible skin cancer. So in conclusion, skin cancer is a serious disease that causes many deaths a year. Malignant melanoma accounts for, again, 5% of skin cancer in total, but can be 50% survival rate and can easily be monitored through moles and their changes. So I think that's a simple enough route to take a look at yourself and determine it from there. If not at all, prevent further changes. Staying consistent with your skin analysis, monitoring skin regimens, and attending regular visits to the doctors can prevent or detect an early onset of melanoma. And that is all I have for tonight. So stay aware of your skin, treat your skin, and produce the skin that you need to produce so that your body's taken care of, and you're in turn taken care of internally as well. Thank you for your time.